Today, in the world of cannabis, new data is released on U.S. cannabis industry sales projections. U.S. Representative AOC reaches across party lines in effort to end the war on drugs, and a new poll shows how New Mexico residents feel about cannabis legalization. It's Friday, October 23rd, and this is your Trichomes Morning Buzz.
Broadcasting live from the trichomes.com studios in Southern California. It's time for your Morning Buzz. We bring you late-breaking news that keeps you up to date with what's happening in the cannabis industry.
First up, GlobeNewswire reports that New Frontier Data has released new projections for the cannabis industry sales amid the growing legal cannabis market and economic turmoil caused by the COVID-19 pandemic in the United States. In 2019, U.S. consumers spent nearly $80 billion on legal and illegal cannabis products, a material figure at any point, but certainly during a time of economic crisis, said New Frontier Data founder and CEO Giadha DeCarcer. Key information from the study include combined medical and recreational cannabis sales nationwide are expected to reach $35 billion by 2025. In 2019, illicit cannabis market sales reached about $66 million. The majority of Americans, 67%, support federal cannabis legalization, an increase from 41% in 2010.
And next, in a virtual town hall, Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez said that when it comes to cannabis legalization and ending the war on drugs, she has been pleased to see politicians on every side of the aisle working together on, quote, civil rights policy and civil liberties issues. This, according to Marijuana Moment. Last year, AOC proposed a spending bill amendment to shift $5 million in funding to an opioid treatment program from the Drug Enforcement Administration, or DEA. It was passed through the House without opposition. That's defund before defund became a widespread demand that we heard this year, and Republicans supported it, she said, in reference to calls for defunding law enforcement in protest of police killings of Black and brown Americans. So there are some areas where you can find common ground. There are different ways that we can go about legalizing cannabis in the United States, and you can go about it in a way that concentrates power in a big agriculture way, that concentrates power in big banks, and that cuts out small mom and pop shops, she added. And then there's another path towards legalization where everyday people, and especially Black and brown communities that have been disproportionately impacted by the war on drugs, can be at the front of the line of enjoying the economic benefits of legalization.
Last up, Marijuana Moment reports that the results of a new poll indicate that the majority of New Mexico voters support cannabis legalization in the state, as well as implementation of social equity programs. According to the poll, 72% of respondents support cannabis legalization, including 93% of registered independents, 46% of Republicans, and 94% of Democrats. New Mexicans are ready for cannabis legalization, and they want to see equity built into the legislative proposal to help right the many wrongs caused by the failed war on drugs. Emily Kattenbach, Senior Director of Resident States and New Mexico at Drug Policy Action, said in a press release, "Repairing the damage done by cannabis prohibition is not negotiable," she added. "It is time to stop criminalizing people for cannabis and instead realize the economic and social benefits of having cannabis possession and sales regulated in New Mexico."
And that was today's Buzz. Thanks for listening. For more cannabis news and insights from industry professionals and a place to discuss these stories and others, visit trichomes.com.
And be sure to catch up with all of our other cannabis-related podcasts like Hash It Out, The High Ground, or Careers in Cannabis, wherever you get your podcasts. For trichomes.com, I'm Devin Leanne.
And I'm RJ Balde. Have a great weekend.